Let us see some examples for sentence equivalence questions. Now, what are sentence equivalence questions and what has to be done in them? In sentence equivalence question, you will be given 1 or 2 or a set of 3 sentences, let's say that makes a passage. Now, and that will be followed by only one blank which will have 6 options. Now, out of these 6 options, 2 options are correct and you have to identify both the options in order to get marks. If one option you selected is correct and the other is wrong, you will not be awarded marks. So, make sure that both the options that you choose are correct. Now, first understand what the author is trying to say. Only once you understand it, put in some keyword, find some keyword from the passage or try and put in some common word that you can remember into the blank. Once you have that common word, then you can easily compare it with the options that you have. One mistake that most students make is looking for synonyms. Don't do that. It's a big no. The reason being that there may be 2 synonyms that are present in the options, but they may not be a part of the answer. GRE is not testing your ability to look for synonyms. It is testing your ability of understanding the passage. So, make sure that both options that you choose should independently fit into the sentence. Let's see our first example. It says that as my eyesight began to dash, I spent a lot of time writing about it, both poems and eye journals describing what I saw as I looked through my damaged eyes. So, we can easily look out for the keyword in this passage. The keyword is damaged eyes, because the author's eyes was starting to damage. So, the author spent a lot of time writing about how he felt as his eyes were being damaged and what all he saw through his damaging eyes. So, we can say that the blank in this will have a negative connotation. Once you understand the connotation of the blank, you can easily cross out all the words and find and reach the correct word. So, the keyword that we have is damaged eyes. Now, let's come to the options. The first option says deteriorate. Deteriorate means something that is starting to damage, something that is losing its value. So, yes, we can say that deteriorate can be an option. Sharpen. Sharpen obviously cannot be an option because the eyes of the author have starting to damage. So, sharpen is a word of the positive connotation. So, we can easily cross out sharpen. B can be crossed out. Improve. Obviously, the eyes of the author are not improving. So, we can cross out C. Decline. Yes, decline can be an option. Recover. The eyes of the author are not recovering. So, we can cross out recover. Adjust. Adjust does not even fit anywhere into this. So, we can easily say that our options are A and D. Deteriorate and decline. So, now let us put these 2 words into the sentence and see whether they actually independently fit in the sentence or not. Now, cross-examination in this case is very necessary. So, let us put both these words. As my eyesight began to deteriorate, I spent a lot of time writing about it, both poems and eye journals describing what I saw. It easily fits into. Now, let us see the word decline. As my eyesight began to decline, I spent a lot of time writing about it, both poems and eye journals describing what I saw as I looked out through damaged eyes. Let's see another example. Her dash should not be confused with her miserliness. As long as I have known her, she has always been willing to assist those who are in need. Now, first let's see what is the meaning of the word miserliness. Miserliness is someone who does not spend money, who is not interested in spending money, who does not spend money. Now, let's come on to the options. The first thing that we have is stinginess. Now, let's go back to the passage again to see what the author is trying to say. Her dash should not be confused with her miserliness. That means that some people consider her to be one who does not spend money, but actually that is not be true, because her dash should not be confused with her miserliness. That means she is not actually someone who does not spend money. As long as I have known her, she has always been willing to assist those who are in need. That means she is someone who is a benevolent person, who likes to help people, and who is actually not someone who does not spend money, but yes, that person may be someone who wisely spends money. Now, there is a difference between who does not spend money and who wisely spends money. Let's come to the options. Stinginess. What is the meaning of stinginess? Stinginess means someone who does not spend money at all. So, that means it is a synonym for miserliness, because should not be confused with miserliness. That means we cannot have the word stinginess. Let's cross out stinginess. Diffidence. What is the meaning of diffidence? Diffidence means someone who lacks self-confidence. Now there is no mention of any self-confidence here in this sentence, so we can cross out diffidence. Frugality. What is frugality? Frugality means spending money wisely, means thinking and spending money only on those things which are actually required. So we can say that yes, frugality can be a part of it. Illiberality. What does illiberality means? Illiberality means someone who is not liberal, someone who doesn't, who's not liberal towards any thought or an expression or someone else's belief. So illiberality cannot fit in anywhere into this sentence. Intolerance. Intolerance is like someone is not tolerant or does not believe anyone who says anything against the other person. Like if you have something, if you have, let's say, some person who is so much stubborn about their own beliefs that he does not encounter or cannot tolerate anyone who says anything against him. So that is basically known as intolerance. Here we have no respect or any matching to intolerance, so we can cut out this word. Then says thrift. Thrift means someone who spends money wisely. That means thrift and frugal are the options for this. Now let's put these words. Her frugality or her thrift should not be confused with her miserliness. As long as I have known her, she has always been willing to assist those who are in need. So we can easily see that these two words perfectly fit into the sentence. Okay, let's see here. It says that a misconception frequently held by novice writers is that sentence structure mirrors thought. The more convoluted the structure, the more dash the ideas. Now what is the meaning of novice? Novice is someone who has just started something new, who is not a pro in something, who is not a super talented or complete in something. Someone who has just started something new is novice. Okay, so it says that a misconception frequently held by novice writers, that means those writers who have just entered into the writing industry, is that sentence structure mirrors thought. The more convoluted the structure, the more dash the ideas. That means all those writers who had just started writing in the industry thought that if the sentence structure is more convoluted. Now what is the meaning of convoluted? Convoluted means complicated. So these authors started thinking that if the sentence is more convoluted, that means the idea will be even more convoluted. This is their misconception. So we can first find any word that fits into the sentence. We can say that the word that can come into this sentence can be convoluted. So we will find those words that are similar to this word. This is the easiest way that you can pick up a word similar that is already, like present in the sentence, that can come in this sentence. Convoluted. Complicated. Complicated, yes, obviously means convoluted. Engaged. Engaged cannot be a part of it, because engaged does not mean complicated or convoluted. Engaged means someone that is engaged in an activity or is a part of that activity. Essential. Essential can easily be crossed out. Fanciful. Fanciful means something that is overly decorated. So fanciful can obviously not be a part of it. Inconsequential. Inconsequential means something that is not of much use, does not have much consequence and is sort of useless. So useless cannot come in this. Involved. Involved means something that is complicated, something that is difficult to understand. So we can say that convoluted matches words complicated as well as involved. Now let's put these two words into this sentence and see. A misconception frequently held by novice writers is that sentence structure mirrors thought. The more convoluted the structure, the more complicated the ideas or more involved the ideas. So this is something that is a misconception. That means we can say that if the sentence is more convoluted, it does not mean that the ideas will be complicated. This is what just the novice writers thought. Okay. This says that overlarge, uneven and ultimately disappointing. The retrospective exhibition seems too much like special pleading for a forgotten painter of real but dash talents. Now this says that in this we are talking about a painter whose retrospective exhibition seems too much like special pleading for a forgotten painter. That means the painter has been forgotten by people, no long people remember that painter, and that is why it has become disappointing. Now it says that overlarge, uneven and ultimately disappointing. The retrospective exhibition seems too much like special pleading, means they are pleading for the painter, for a forgotten painter of real, but now we can easily see the keywords. The keywords say disappointing. Disappointing means that the painter does not have real talents, that means has real talents but is not like very talented. So we can easily say that this has a negative connotation. Now let's see the words that come here. Limited. Now what does limited mean? Limited means it's not complete, it's half. So yes, we can say that limited will be a part. Partial. Partial will not, although partial does seem a part of this blank, but partial cannot come here because partial is like half full. So this is not really partial, it means it does not have, the painter does not have actual talents, does not have much talents. So undiscovered. Undiscovered will obviously not be a part of it because the talents of the painter have been discovered. Circumscribed. Circumscribed means something that restricts something. So nothing is being restricted here, so circumscribed cannot be a part of it. Prosaic. Prosaic means someone who is useless. So we can say that useless and talents don't go together. So prosaic cannot be a part of it. Now let's say hidden. Hidden can be yes because the painter was forgotten. So his talents became hidden. So we can say that hidden will be a part of this. So the two words that fit into the sentence, let's put these words in the sentence and see. Overlarge, uneven and ultimately disappointing. The retrospective exhibition seems too much like special pleading for a forgotten painter of real but limited talents or but hidden talents.